Alright, so I'm going to be opening up and disassembling this MSI GS66 Stealth. So this is a bit tricky to disassemble, but we'll see. I'll show you how to get this bottom cover off. Right, so first you're going to want to remove all the screws from the bottom. So the one on this side. Keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shapes, and lengths, and if you get them mixed up, you can damage the computer putting the wrong screws in the wrong place. Right, so you got the two here. Right, then you got two more on these sides here. Okay. Alright. There's one underneath this factory seal sticker, so remove that one as well. Alright, and then you got three at the bottom here. So this cover's a little tricky. You do need like a thin pry tool to remove this thing. And I found a suction cup helps as well. So I'll show you that. The screw in the middle down here is actually the shortest one. So if you get them mixed up, hopefully at least you'll be able to put that one in the right spot. Alright. Okay, once you get all those screws out, what I found works to get this cover off. If you have a suction cup, you can use that. So I'm going to start on one side here, use the suction cup, and then what I'll do is I'll get a tool, the pry tool in here in this gap. Let me see if I can zoom in. Alright, and what I do is I pull up on this suction cup as I kind of like get the tool and pry in there. Okay, and then I kind of just pry this out a little bit. Let's see if I can get it. So it's a little tricky the last time I did it. You have to kind of find where the clips are specifically. Okay, get the tool in there. You kind of want to be careful. There we go. So the middle clip is actually the easiest one first, it looks like. So we can start over at the center. There we go. And then work our way over to the sides. Okay, just keep pulling on it. And I think once we get up part of the case, we can kind of pull from here. There we go. And still kind of using the tool to help pop those clips out. There we go. And we can rotate the computer. And then while you're kind of pulling up on here, you can also use the suction cup, but you can get underneath and kind of pull up the cover while you're kind of getting the tool here and just slide it along. You don't want to put the tool too far down. It's kind of hard to show how far, but once I get it open, I'll kind of see if I can show this. All right, so once you're getting over there, keep pulling up on the cover, get the tool in again and just slide it down just to release the clips. And you want to be careful for all the little connectors on the side here. You don't want to damage those, so kind of just get the tool in between and then yeah, just follow the guide around there. Okay, there we go. All right, so now we got most of this out. Let me zoom out. Okay, so now we got all of this out, but we still haven't gotten the middle out here. So the middle, you're actually going to have to just do the same thing, slide the tool over, and you can kind of pop it up a little bit. Let's see if I can get this. So the clips here are kind of strong, so what you got to do is I get my fingers under in the middle here, and then I kind of push up with my fingers and push down with my thumb. And then, let's see if I can get that. Okay, you want to be careful not to pop it up too far. So there's a clip right here, but it doesn't want to come out. It's being tough right now. Let's see if I can do it with the suction cup again. So use the suction cup, and now I'm going to push down with my wrist here, or my palm, and then try and pull up this side. There we go. So we got the center. Once you get part of it going, then it'll be easier because you can get your fingers underneath and you can kind of pull it up as you kind of slide the tool along. Okay. So I don't know if you can see. Sorry, my head got in the way. But I just pull up the cover as you slide the tool along, and there you go. There you go. The cover's coming off. Okay. So this had liquid spill in it, so we are going to be popping up the entire motherboard if we can. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is remove the battery and the CMOS battery. Let me zoom in to show this. So I don't know if your cable will be routed the same way, but the cable's like this. I'm just going to pull it up. And then since you can't really grab this connector here, what I do is I get as close as I can to the connector with the cables, and I kind of just wiggle it. So as you can see, as you wiggle the cables, it slowly pulls this connector out, and you just want to keep wiggling it until it pops out. You don't want to put too much force yanking on it. All right, same idea for the CMOS battery. Just lift up the tape and then grab a hold of the wings of the connector, just like this. I don't know if you can even see, but you just keep wiggling it side to side or side to side of the way you're pulling the connector out, and it pops out really easily. All right, so I'm gonna open this up. I don't know why it's showing all grainy on my screen. Hopefully it's not actually recording grainy like that. All right, so now I'm gonna slowly open this up, and then you wanna press and hold the power button to drain any power that's in the capacitors and things like that, to reduce the risk of damaging the motherboard when we go ahead and try and pull it out. Okay, so about 10 to 15 seconds. All right, it's probably good enough. We'll close this up. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is remove the battery. The battery, there's a model number here, is BTY-M6M, just in case you need that. Okay, here, BTY-M6M. All right, let me zoom back out. Most people that work on these are probably just going to be here to upgrade their computer, like for the SSD or the RAM. So I'll actually show that as well. The RAM is kind of trapped under this part. Oh, there we go. So lift up that. There's two sticks. There's another stick of RAM on this side, but I'm just going to show one. You just pull these metal tabs out to the side like that. The stick of RAM will pop up. Then you just grab it and pull it out. So this RAM is PC4 3200 AA. I haven't seen this model before, but for the computer, you want to get PC4 3200, and then you can use any size you want. So you can get two 16 gig sticks if you want, but for most people, two 8 gigs, the 16 gigs total should be plenty. All right, so I'm going to put the RAM back in at the angle, and then just slowly push it back down. It clips in place. The SSD here, we're going to take this out. There's just one screw, okay? So this is using also the PH1 or JS1 screwdriver. I don't know if I mentioned that when I took the bottom cover off, but it's a PH1 JS1 screwdriver for pretty much all these screws. Right, once you get that screw out, you can get underneath the chip and you can lift this out. You want to be very careful because they put a thermal pad under there that it sticks to. So you want to do this very slowly, okay? Right, once you get it disconnected from the thermal pad, then you can kind of wiggle and pull the SSD out. It looks like they put this plastic on top that's kind of holding it onto the slot, so I don't know. Let me see. We're going to have to peel this off. Okay, you want to be careful peeling this off. You don't want to damage the SSD peeling it up. Okay, so it's stuck. This black piece is stuck to the label, and there we go. So we got that up. Is that a thermal pad? Okay, so there's some thermal stuff on it too. Once you get that out, you can pull this out. So as you can see, it kind of had some sticker here that kind of unstuck to it. So I don't know, they just use, this is just like double stick tape. But anyways, this is, I'm pretty sure it's PCIe NVMe. I'm trying to look for a thing on here that actually mentions it, but I don't see anything. Anyways, SSD, this thing on the board actually says PCIe and SATA, so you can use either type on this slot, and then there's a slot here that says PCIe only, so keep that in mind. So both of them will work with PCIe NVMe SSDs, and then it looks like this slot is only, this slot is combined, and then this slot is only PCIe NVMe. Okay, if that matters to you. I'm gonna put this back down. Okay, get it lined up. Put this thing back on top. Oops, it's not aligned right, so I'm gonna have to fix that. So I don't know why this thing is all crooked like this, but there we go. Sorry, my head's in the way. There we go. And we'll just put this screw back in. Oh, actually, I do have to remove this, so to get the screw underneath, I do have to actually remove this SSD. So let's pop the SSD out and leave it out temporarily. Okay. So again, slowly lift up the SSD and pull that out. All right, so I'm going to leave the SSD out. We are going to have to remove those screws, the screw that's underneath here. There's one screw there. I'm going to make this easier by getting a marker, and the screws that I remove, I'm going to just draw something there so I can make sure I put them back in the right spot. So let's see here. Let's actually pull the battery out first. So there's one screw here, and this might be a little tricky because there's a lot of screws. So again, hopefully you have a lot of desk space. Put the screws out in the pattern that you remove them. That's the easiest way to be able to put them back. But let's see, 2 screws there. So I can't really mark this. And then I guess there's only 2 screws on that side, and then there's 1 screw here. Okay, so I guess only 3 screws holding this down. Alright, once we do that, we're going to see if we can lift the board or the battery out. Sorry, there we go. And the battery does come out pretty easily. I do see some signs of liquid residue here, so that's kind of not good. We'll see. They said they spilled some soup on it, so I don't know. Alright, now we got the speaker connectors here, so let's see what I'm going to have to do. There's a lot of cables going underneath here. So we're going to have to figure this out. Okay, all these cables are going underneath the board. So that's going to be pretty tricky. It looks like there's some cables here, but they have tape over them. There's another cable up here. Okay. So I'm going to remove the wireless antennas first because most likely I'm going to have to take those out, but let me see actually. Yeah, this is going to be a somewhat complex build. Okay, let's try and remove all the screws. So there's 1 screw here holding the fans. I'm just going to try and slowly remove all these screws. There's another screw down here holding the fans. Okay. There's a lot of screws, so hopefully I'll be able to keep track. What else? There's another screw holding the fan here. Okay. Hopefully there's no other hidden screws I'm going to have to worry about. But if there are, hopefully I'll be able to figure it out. So this is holding itself down pretty strong. We're going to go ahead and remove the connector here for the fans. So I'm going to get a set of tweezers to make this a little easier. Okay. So tweezers, and same like before, I'm using tweezers just because I can't get my finger in that spot, though actually you can use a screwdriver, would probably work better. And I'll use my fingernail on the other side, so let me zoom in and then I'll show this. Okay, so what I do, fingernail on this side and then the screwdriver on this, and just again like before, just wiggle the connector. There we go, comes out pretty easily. Okay, so remove the fan connector. There's a bunch of connectors on this side, so we're going to just remove them as well. So I'm going to just wiggle this and pull that out. Okay, I don't know where the other end of this connector is going. Oh, it looks like it's curving. So this is actually, I think, for this fan. And then you got this connector here for this fan. So we're going to remove that as well. Wiggle it and pop it out. There we go. We probably don't have to remove these connectors because the fan is attached to the board. But we're going to flip this one up, and that way if I need to pull the board up, it will disconnect itself. Alright, so again, wireless antennas, we're going to pop those out. I don't know if I have to, but we're going to do it anyway. So there's one with a red label on it that goes to the white arrow, and then the one without it goes to the black arrow. So I'm just going to go from the tails here and then just pop up the antenna. Same thing, tails, pop it up. Right, straight up. Then let's see what else we got here. We got the speaker connectors here. So I'm going to, same thing, use the screwdriver, wiggle that side and my fingernail to wiggle the other. Oops, be careful with that. And just wiggle that connector out. Slowly wiggle it. There we go. And the connector comes out just like that. Okay, so I don't see too many screws on the motherboard, but there are, I don't know what this screw here is. I don't know if that's actually holding the board down or if that's just for a clip. So there's two, oops, let me zoom out. So there we go. So there's the two screws here, one under the SSD and then this one. So I guess if you had SSDs here, they would both be under SSDs. So there's not many screws that I need to take out, so I guess I don't really need to mark it on the board because that's pretty easy to remember. So we'll just take those two out and let's see here if it's going to lift up slightly, kind of. Okay, so we're going to undo the tape here. This is a very tricky disassembly. Okay, so I'm going to use this plastic tool that doesn't conduct electricity to get underneath this adhesive here. And I just want to see which side the, yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure I can peel it this way. So usually the best way to peel these kinds of adhesive things is to go straight back. You don't want to kind of pull up because then it puts pressure on the board. So I'm just going to peel it straight over like this and try and keep it from peeling stuff off the board. There we go. So we'll set this aside, or actually I'll just stick it here for now, I guess. And then we'll flip up this latch. Actually, let me stick it here so it'll be easier to take out later. There we go. All right, so flip up the latch here, just like that, and then you can actually pull this connector out. There's not much slack actually, so I don't know about pulling these connectors out. It's really hard to pull them out without damaging anything. So I think what has to happen is we have to lift up the back side of the board first, and then all of these connectors will probably flip it over and it'll be easier to get to. So again, there's another piece of adhesive here covering this, so let's peel that out as well. Okay, similar thing, just roll it back just like this. Okay, there we go. I'm going to stick it over here just like the other one. And again, we're going to just pop up this latch because I have no idea how I'm going to grab that cable out. It's too short. So let's see what we can do. I might have to respond to some messages, so I might have to pause the video and come back, but let's see what else I see in here. So this side is kind of lifting up before it wouldn't, so taking out those screws, seems like that was holding it. And yeah, this board is really secured down. Let's see, charge port is soldered. What else? These, okay, so the headphone jack protrudes into here, so most likely we have to lift up from this side first. Otherwise the other side will just be trapped. But I'm trying to figure out how I would even get these cables out because they're super short. I don't know how I would, even if I pulled them out, I don't know how I'll put them back in. So this cable I can probably do because they have this little tab here that I can grab. Let's see if I can do it with the tweezers. Oh no, this is super, nope, I don't know. There's not much room to work in here. So I don't know how you would undo any of these cables. I'm trying to pull this cable back, but it's kind of coming. This one I probably need tweezers that have teeth. Okay, so that one actually came out. But I'm looking at this and I don't know how I would get the rest out. Okay, let's try and pull this cable out as well. Just grip it and pull it back. Yep, that's really tough. So what I'm gonna do, because I don't think tweezers can pull on this, let me try. Nope. I'm gonna have to use my mini pliers, I think, the ones with teeth. I can kind of pull it, but then it slips. Actually, what you can do, if you don't have pliers, you can get a piece of tape like this. Let me zoom in and see if I can show this. This will probably be the best way. Or you can even probably use this piece of tape, but let's see, we'll stick it on there and then we'll use that to pull it back. Oh, and that definitely worked. So yeah, you can probably use the black tape here as well, but I don't want that to lose its stickiness, so I'm going to leave that. Let's try it with this one. Okay, same thing, using a piece of tape. I mean, that's lifted, but it doesn't look like it wants to move at all. Yeah, this cable doesn't want to move at all. I don't know. Let me try another piece of tape. That one I kind of... Let's see here. Oh, it doesn't want to come out. Maybe I need a better type of tape that's stronger. Yep, that one doesn't want to come out at all, so I don't know. You might have to actually pull the heat sinks all off of this just to even get that out, which that would be a huge pain. I hope not, but it looks like that might be what has to happen. Let me try with another clean piece of tape and maybe that will work, but it's definitely looking like you'd have to pull up the heat sinks, which if that's the case, it's going to be a real pain because I'm going to have to redo the thermal paste and everything on this, and I didn't want to have to redo thermal paste on it, but might have to. All right. Tape stuck on there and pull it. Yep, it doesn't move anywhere. Okay, so I think I'm gonna have to actually remove the heat sinks from here. Okay, so let's do that then. All right, so I'm gonna zoom out some more and we're gonna undo the screws. So there's 3 here and then there's 2 more here. Okay, so did they number them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the screws are numbered here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You don't have to remove them in that order, but usually when putting it back together, that's the order they want you to do it. All right, so let's remove these screws. Let's see here, how am I gonna put these to make it easier to keep track of? 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. All right, so now that we got all of those 5 screws out, let's see if we can pull this up. Usually the best way to do this is kind of like twisting it a little, but I don't know if we'll be able to do that because there's not much room to twist it. So again, since we're pulling the fans out and everything, you want to make sure that the fans are disconnected. All right, and we're gonna try and lift up from here because this is the thickest piece. Okay, oops. All right, so this is a thicker piece of metal, so we're going to try and lift from here. And let's see if it comes up. Slowly lift. You don't want to do it too quick. There we go, and the fans are coming out. Nice. All right, so we got the fans, and you can see all this stuff is kind of like goopy and melted. So usually they'll use like solid pads, but this one looks like they actually used a paste here. Okay, so we got that. Now we can actually access this, and it looks like they actually taped this down on top, but we can get over here. This is disconnected. We can move the wireless antennas out of the way. So this piece is like taped down, like really strong. So I don't know how you would remove that, but now I think we can lift this sort of. Yeah, nope, we have to somehow get underneath this. So to do that, let's see here, what am I going to use? I'm going to try with this plastic razor blade. I don't know. I don't know why they designed it like this. So I don't know if I can actually get underneath this cable or not. No, it seems really risky, like I'm gonna actually damage this cable. What I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna have to heat this slightly, and then hopefully that'll be enough to peel this up. I'm gonna use like a heater, but on a low setting, and I'm just gonna try and make sure it doesn't get too hot. So we're gonna warm this up. I'm gonna wait for the heater to heat up, and then I'll be back. All right, I'll see you guys in a bit. All right, sorry about that. So I'm back. I'm gonna heat this up now, okay? Just to make it a little warm, and then I'll probably use the plastic little pokey stick this to get underneath and peel it up if possible. We'll see. So the heater isn't very warm, so I don't know. Let's see how this goes. This is like a lot of surface area or thermal mass to heat up, so I don't know if it's going to actually be able to warm this well enough, but we'll see. It's warming my hand really well, but this thing feels cold still. So I don't know, just keep heating it up. Okay, it's getting a little warm. Sorry, this is probably boring. You can just fast forward over this part. I'm just heating it up until it's warm enough for me to work on. Okay. Alright, let's see if I can somehow peel this up now. Move this out of the way a little bit. My head's probably going to be in the way, but let's see if I can get underneath here with this tool. Yeah, I don't know whose idea it was to put this here, but it's a stupid idea. Okay, or maybe it was a mad genius idea just to make it so people break their computer trying to work on it. But this is the LCD LVDS connector, it looks like. So if you're wondering, this is for the screen connector. And then I'm not sure what this is, but it's also going into the screen, so it's probably for the cameras and everything. Alright, sorry, I'm going to be going off camera doing this sort of. Let me move this over a little bit more. Somehow I'm not feeling much heat coming while I'm holding it here, so it's kind of strange. I mean, it's getting warm, but I don't know. You can also use like a hot pack or something. I've heard some people do that they'll use a hot pack to kind of warm it up. Alright, let's see. I can get underneath this piece, but can I get underneath the other? So slowly peeling it up. Alright, it's kind of working. We're going to keep heating it. Okay. I'm going to keep heating this and trying to get the tool underneath. It's a very dumb design. They could have just put the cable without the adhesive here. Seems like it's working, but I don't know. Alright, slowly peeling up. There we go. Oops, I'm going off camera, so let me show this. think I peeled it up enough that I don't need the heat anymore. So let's go ahead and get the tool. There we go, underneath. And we can kind of pull this back, right? And I'm gonna try and peel up the rest of it just so it's not a pain when I go to put it back later. So let's peel this off. Okay, there we go. Now we got that out of the way. All right, so now let's see if we can lift this up or if something else is still holding on to it. It's kind of coming up, but it feels like it's caught by something. Are they hiding screws under here? Let's see here. I mean, there's one there. I probably have to, we'll see, I probably have to remove that. Okay, there's no screw there. Put that sticker ram back in. Pull this one out. Okay. And let me flip this so it's easier for me to see. And there's nothing under there either. Put all this like adhesive stuff in the way. It's kind of a pain. Whose idea was this? Okay, make sure this goes in all the way. Push that latch back down. Okay, I'm gonna move the heater out of the way because I don't need it right now. All right, so let's try removing this middle screw here because maybe that's what's holding it in. So we got this one screw here that's also holding like a latch. It doesn't seem like it's actually holding anything, so I don't know. Oh, maybe, okay. So the only thing with this, okay, so there's a square shaped thing that keeps it aligned the right way, and you want it facing that direction, okay? So when you put it back, make sure you put it with this extended plastic part closer to the SSD. Okay, so get that. Alright, let me put the screw in, make it easier for me to keep track of. Alright, so let's see here. Again, there's still some cables underneath here, so we have to likely lift this up this way. Let me zoom out more. Oops. So we're going to have to lift this up this way and then lift from this side as well, because we do need to pull this back. Again, because the headphone jack is caught here, so it looks like it's working. It's coming out. Okay. Again, we do have to kind of flip it slightly forward, or actually, looks like the way they designed it, we have to take this out, of course. Dumb design again. So let's flip this latch up. Looks like there's actually liquid in this part as well, so I'm gonna have to be careful with that. And I guess I'll have to heat that as well. All right, so let's continue heating up some stuff. And be careful with this. I think this is the GPU and that's the CPU. I'm going to be heating this up now. But it looks like the touchpad connector is toast. Okay, sorry, let me go closer here. Okay, so we're just heating up this connector. I'm actually cooking my hand as well. And hopefully we can heat it up enough just to peel out that. Alright, so I'm going to try and peel up the trackpad connector here. Get underneath and slowly pull it up. Because of course they wanted to use some stupid adhesive. There we go. And then you can pull the connector out. And yeah, this connector is all destroyed from the liquid. We're gonna have to see if we can clean that and get that working. Alright, so we're gonna now lift the board out, hopefully. Hopefully there's no more hidden cables attached. Okay. Oh, there is another cable attached, it looks like. the other side here. So I don't know if I'll be able to show this. Let's flip this over. My head might get in the way. And yeah, of course, they put a stupid keyboard connector here. Why not? Okay, so let's peel this up as well. Same thing, they put this black adhesive thing on top. Just roll it back. Okay. Sorry, I'm probably going out of view. Alright, you got that. Let's flip this black latch over. Hopefully you can see. Okay, that black latch goes up, and then we should be able to, oh, of course, they put more adhesive here too. Sure, why not? Let's just make everything a pain in the butt to work on. Okay, so I'm gonna let this sit here like that. And then I'm gonna let's see if we can peel this up slowly. It doesn't look like it. I'm gonna get underneath here with this tool. Probably gonna have to use heat, but we'll see if I can just get underneath and slowly peel this up. Because of course every part needs adhesive. There we go. So they only put the adhesive on this lower part there. And now we got that out. So we got the whole board out. Ooh, that's a little risky. I ended up getting some of the pink stuff on this. Actually, it might have already been there, but yeah. So you want to be careful with this board when you flip it over because you don't want to get the thermal paste on everything. All right, so I'm going to set this aside now. Let me move the heatsink out of the way. And I'm going to put the board there for now. Okay, so let's see. In here, definitely the trackpad is destroyed. So let me zoom in there. Definitely at least the trackpad connector. I don't know if the trackpad itself is destroyed. Usually what I do to clean this up, I would use a toothbrush and just kind of get all that green and white corrosion stuff out so it's not shorting any pins. The trackpad itself, I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. It's mostly on here. There is some residue there, so I'm going to try and clean that with some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Okay, so I'm cleaning off that. And what we'll do, we'll get a paper towel. Just a little bit, we don't need too much. Then I'm going to get some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Alright, this is 91%. You can use even higher if you want, if you can find it. Alright, and we'll clean this residue off. We'll clean this off. Oops, sorry, it's going out of view of the camera, but we're just basically cleaning this with the rubbing alcohol. Okay. Just like that, and then we'll brush this up. And I'm brushing it like this to kind of wiggle the connector back and forth, and that helps kind of also scrape the residue off between the two pieces. Let me see if I can zoom in more. Okay, so it's a lot cleaner now. So before it had all that green and white gunk there. But yeah, when you do this, like forward and back, just be careful not to, hopefully you won't knock this connector off. But what you do is basically the connectors kind of connect like this in between these. So when you open and close it, it kind of like does that and it kind of helps scrape that stuff off. Okay. And then also, as you can see, the rubbing alcohol helped. It helps kind of dissolve it. The water helps dissolve the water-soluble stuff, and then the alcohol part basically helps dissolve the greasy, oily stuff. So, and that's why rubbing alcohol works well for this kind of thing. So that's good. Let's see here. Is the keyboard connector screwed up or anything? That looks okay. I don't see any corrosion on it, so it's probably fine. This connector here is another connector for the keyboard, and that also looks fine. I don't know about this end. I don't see any corrosion on this side. So he told me that it's not turning on anymore, and so far I just saw the only places I see liquid are in this trackpad connector and around here. So there's a very good chance that the that the keyboard itself is just damaged from the liquid, And because the power button is part of the keyboard, it's not going to send the power button signal. So that's my guess. We're going to see, I'm going to take a closer look at the board now. And again, the trackpad is pretty gross, so I don't know if you can see it here. So it's like brownish, and there's like stuff on the pins. The pins actually look like they might be burnt out. I'm gonna try and clean it up a little bit with the rubbing alcohol. Again, I have to be careful because I keep forgetting there's thermal paste on there, and I don't want that getting all over everything when I flip it over. So I'm gonna try and do it from this side. Okay, I'm just gonna clean off the pins. The rest of the cable doesn't matter. It doesn't conduct electricity. So it doesn't matter if there's dirt and stuff on it. It's mainly just the pins here. So I'm just going to clean that up. And you want to be careful not to pinch this too much because you can actually end up breaking the cable internally. So what I do is I kind of keep my finger there behind it, and then I just can wipe it in one direction like this. Usually you want to wipe it in this direction because if you go this way, sometimes the pins can lift off the cable and then you can bend them and break them. So I'm just only going in this direction, and I'll go behind as well. Not that the back matters too much. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, this looks like it's probably all burnt up. I don't know if you can see, but some of those pins are turning like pink. So I don't know if they're gonna still work, but we'll find out. I'm just going to take a quick close-up look of the whole board now. Hopefully he didn't fry anything on the board by continuing to use it. Right now, not really seeing much else here. Okay, let's flip it over, and I have to be careful again with all that thermal paste, thermal pads. Okay, and I'm not really seeing any liquid damage on the bottom here either. Again, all the liquid I saw was based on the trackpad area. So it might just be that the keyboard is fried. But the problem is I'd have to get a hold of like the replacement whole keyboard assembly because they kind of melt these little plastic rivets in place. And that's probably going to be a very expensive repair, so I don't know what those parts are going to cost. I don't see any liquid residue or anything on the board itself, so I'm hoping that the board is okay. I don't see any components that look fried, unless I'm missing something, but I don't know. Usually my nearsighted vision is pretty good, so yeah. Alright. Yep, so I'm not seeing anything on the board itself. This part looks, I don't know why it's like silver there. Maybe it rubbed off some of the aluminum or something, but I definitely don't see liquid on it, so it's most likely, if he's lucky and it didn't short something, because I don't see anything wrong with the main board, it's more likely it fried the trackpad and the keyboard, and then the power button is on the keyboard. So if that's not getting proper connection, or if the keyboard isn't working right, then yeah, of course it's not gonna work right. So anyways, we're gonna put this back together. So let's see here, we got this. So I'm gonna flip it back over this way. Again, I have to be very careful with all the thermal paste stuff. I don't want to get it all over. Okay, so we're gonna lift that up, and the connector goes this way, so we're just gonna put it back in. Let me peel this adhesive back. Oops. Okay, let me do that first. So I'm gonna peel this adhesive back. Okay, just like that. I'm gonna roll this adhesive over. Oh, it's hard to roll the adhesive over. Okay, let me see if I can make the adhesive stick to itself just so it's not in my way. Here we go. Okay, let's flip this back over like that. And we're gonna go ahead and plug the keyboard connector back in like before. I'm gonna have to get my head in the way most likely. Plug that back in. Oh, that's gonna be difficult because this adhesive here. So I'm gonna just muddy up this adhesive to make it easier, okay, on both sides. There we go, and hopefully now I can stick this without any issues. Come on, get that in. Yeah, this is kind of a pain. Okay, well, hopefully you get the idea because my head's gonna be in the way for sure. Actually, let me zoom in more and see if I can keep my head out of it, because then it'll be focusing more on the connector. All right, hopefully my head won't get in the way and you guys can see. Nope, my head's still getting in the way. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to stare at my head for a bit. Let me do this actually. Okay, put that connector in. Come on, this connector really doesn't want to go back in. I don't know here, you guys. I don't know. Okay, let me actually rotate this and it'll probably be easier for me. I'll rotate this way. We'll put this. Okay. Let's see if I can do it this way. Maybe it will be easier because then I can see a little bit better in this direction. Kind of. Can't tell. It's not going in as much as it needs to. So I think this I need to put something because it's sticking too much to it. So when I actually try and put the connector in, it keeps sticking. Okay, I'm just gonna lay the board down like how I was doing it before, and if thermal paste gets everywhere, I'm gonna just have to clean it up. Okay, let's get this connector in. Hopefully this will probably deter a bunch of people from working on this model, which is good because it's better you guys see how difficult it is and then don't do it instead of like opening it and then you won't be able to put it back. So I don't know why, but this doesn't want to stick on. Doesn't want to go in. Like, it's in the slot, but if I try and push the cable in, it doesn't go. And I'm pretty sure, unless that's all it needs to go in, maybe. Okay, maybe I was trying to push the cable further than it needed to go. I don't know. Hold on, my head's gonna be in the way. Yeah, because that's all this cable I can get it to go. I probably should have paid more attention to how far the cable was plugged in here, because when I'm plugging this in, it only goes in like a millimeter or something and then it stops. So maybe that's all it goes. Okay, well, if that's the case, we'll push that back down. We'll hope that's right. Okay, I'm gonna unroll the adhesive here. Okay. We'll just put this back on top, just like that. Okay, we'll stick that back down, and it looks like that might actually be right. Okay, so we're gonna flip this back over. Okay, let's zoom out. I don't know if this video is gonna let me stitch it together. It might be too long, but we'll see. Alright, so now let's try and reconnect everything else. Got this. Got these antennas here, move them out of the way. We got this short cable here. Make sure that this ends up back on top. Okay, you want to get the headphone jack in first. Alright, there we go. I'm going to slowly drop this back down. Make sure everything else goes into place. Okay. Kind of have to flex this up slightly. Sorry, I'm going to be moving the computer around a lot to try and make sure everything goes in properly. Alright, headphone jack is in place. This, you kind of have to pull the middle up slightly to get it to bow outwards. And there we go. Alright, let's reconnect this. Alright. It's a little tricky because all the adhesive on each connector, so. Hopefully you guys can see. This is kind of a pain. There we go. Put that connector in. Actually, I don't know if, is that a letter or it's burnt? Okay, I'll try and clean that. It looks like it's some dirt or something. Alright, so I'll push this back in. Put that latch back down. Okay. Let's see if that black thing comes out. Oh yeah, that cleans off. Okay. Oh, so flip this latch up. Get this connector back in. These connectors are probably going to be a pain to put back. Okay, wasn't too bad. Put that latch back down. And then we can take this piece and put that back over the top of it. Alright, just like that. The wireless antennas, I don't remember exactly. I think it was just routed along the side there. I'm gonna get this cable. And just pull that back. Sorry, I'm gonna rotate this to make it a little easier for me. And all these cables are kind of, it's just the stupid adhesive holding it down that's making it difficult. So I peeled it up a little. Okay, and then now I can kind of bend it down a little bit easier. There we go. Get that in place. Put the latch down. And put this back down. Okay, let's see. Got that. We got this one here. So we're going to put this cable in as well. You want to use the brown latch. I use my fingernail over the cable to help push it in, and then put that down. Right, push this back over. Get the adhesive, transfer it back on top. Okay, let's rotate this. Let's see. So, yeah, it looks like to take this out, you would have to take the trackpad, or not the trackpad, the heatsink out. So that's going to be a pain if you have to do this, because that's a lot of paste. But I'm going to check if it works without redoing the thermal paste. Normally, if you redo the thermal paste, you get you wipe all this stuff off with paper towel. Then you use some of the rubbing alcohol and then clean it up. Usually I'll do that like 2 or 3 times to make sure that all the residue is gone. And then you got to put thermal paste on all this stuff. Usually these ones, they don't get crazy hot, so you can actually reuse. But these ones here, you don't want these air gaps here. So you do want to clean this all off. And then you put about the size of a grain of rice here. This one's a bigger die, but so this, the grain of rice you put along the die here. This one's a bit bigger, almost like a CPU size. So you put maybe about 2-3 grains of rice, but slightly along this way. And then when you push it down, it will evenly distribute the paste. You don't want to spread the paste ahead of time. because that will actually, let's see, that will actually make air bubbles within there. So I guess I have to see how will I do this, because let's put the wireless antennas in first. Okay, so the antennas, the way I get them in is I kind of just line it up, and then the way you know it's lined up is the antenna, it'll like stick to the connector, and then if you like move your finger over the top, it doesn't move around, then you can just push it down. All right, same thing with the other one. All right, just like that. And it looks like that will help keep those wires routed that way. Okay, so we're gonna put this back on, and I'm just gonna test it because there's no point redoing the thermal paste if the computer still doesn't turn on. So I'm not gonna redo the thermal paste. I have other videos for how to do the thermal paste, so I probably won't do that in this video. But yeah, just watch the other videos if you're kind of curious and can't figure it out. Okay, so the heat sink, you kind of have to just get it right in place. Huh. It doesn't really want to go into place properly, so. I don't know why, but this thing doesn't want to sit completely flat. That might actually be how it goes, because these things do look like they're okay, unless it's, I don't remember, were the antennas on top? I don't think so. So I might have to rewatch my video. That's the problem, is I can't rewatch my video while I'm making the video, so I have to do it all from memory. Okay, so I just routed the wireless antennas better underneath the motherboard, and hopefully that's correct here. There we go. This side. Oh, it doesn't look like it's going down all the way. Is it crushing something here? Might be the wireless antennas. Oh. Let's see. Wireless antennas, are they in the way? No, that can't even go any further, so that's should be right. Okay. So let's plug in these cables. Alright. Reconnect the fan cables here. Alright, reconnect the other fan cable. Try with the tweezers, might be easier. Kinda, not really. Okay, make sure the fan connectors go in. Last fan connector here. You don't want to pull on the cable when you're pushing these connectors in. It's always better to kind of pinch the two together like this. Okay, and make sure this cable stays out of the way so when you put stuff back, it's not going to crush it. Alright, so let's start putting back the screws. We'll put back this one. Okay, I hope that's in right. We'll put back the first one. I'm going to just loosely fit them first. Got the second one. Third one. Okay. fourth one, and the fifth one. I'm gonna put back the board screws. Let's see here, do I got that? Okay. So we got one board screw down here. Oh, I'm crunching some of these. Let me make sure I get all these cables out. So the speaker cable is stuck underneath. We gotta make sure to get that out. Uh-oh, I think I trapped it now. So let's lift this back up. Oh. And this is gonna be a pain. So let's see if I can get it back out with the tweezers here. Okay, there we go. Alright, hopefully there's no other cables. I think the only one I had to put underneath was the keyboard cable that's over there. So, pinch that. All these other cables are in. So it should be okay. Alright, let's go ahead and put back the fan screws and the board screws. Alright, board screw number 1. Board screw number 2. Oop, stuck the heat pad onto the other heat pad. Alright, there we go. Then we got this central one. Alright. Yep, my screwdriver stuck. Get this fan screw in. Second fan screw in. I don't know why it's sticking up like that. Something must be not right. Okay, I'm gonna lift this up and see what's going on, because I don't think these fans should be raised up like that. Do I have to? I'm pretty sure the antenna cables were under there. So I don't know what's preventing it from going down all the way. Let me see. This seems to be the tricky part. Alright, so the problem is now I'm going to have to remove all those fan screws again, or the fan connectors. So I don't see anything under here that's preventing it from going down. What is happening? Sorry, I have to go underneath to see what's going on here. So I don't see anything stopping it from going down all the way. I don't know why it's not going down like it was before. I don't remember it sticking up like that. Did it? No? I don't think so. So, what do I got to do to keep that up here? Also, this side doesn't seem to be as... Oh, okay. Alright, I'm going to take these fan connectors out again and see what's going on. Sorry, this is a lot of just figuring out as I go along. Okay, get those fan connectors out. Oops, get out. Okay. So I don't see anything trapped under here that would cause the problem. The only thing I can see is this antenna cable. Maybe I'm not routing it right the same way as before. I don't know. Is there a better way I can route this cable? Is it supposed to go further underneath? I don't remember. So I might have to rewatch my video and do this if I can't figure it out. But I'm going to tuck it there. There's a little groove here, so I'm going to see if that helps. But I don't think that's it. I don't remember it going that way. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, nope, it hits that. So the wireless antennas must be the issue. I'm gonna pull them out completely. Did they go on top of the board? I don't know. Okay, let's try that. Let's try putting this side of the fans in first. Okay, so I routed the wireless antennas over that way, and it seems a lot better. So was that how it was? I don't remember. Okay, well, I'll rewatch my video later just to confirm, but if I need to take it back out, I'll take it back out. Since you guys can rewatch my video, you can do that and just confirm. I'm gonna put them in the wrong order, but I'm gonna tighten them in the right order, so just in case you're wondering, because I'm just putting them in loosely right now. Not that it matters, because right now I kind of just want to make sure it turns on. Okay, so we got those. Let's put the fan screws back in. And let's actually reconnect the fans before we forget. Okay, fan number 1 connected. This fan in. Alright, last fan. Okay, let's put back the rest of the screws. I hope I'm putting back the right ones, because there are extra, like, I think those are for the case, so that should be fine. And we got the other fan screw here. Alright, the rest are battery screws. Okay, so let's put back the SSD. Sorry, this video is not like ultra great, but hopefully it will help people, because I don't know if anyone else made a video of this model. Alright, so let's put this screw in here. This is a pretty complicated build. Alright, everything else is plugged in except for the CMOS battery here and the regular battery. So let's plug that back in. Okay, just like that. Take the battery, and we'll plug the battery back in. Oh, we'll actually put the screws in first. We'll leave the plug out for now. Okay, let's put the screws for the battery in. I like to loosely fit the screws first just to make sure everything is in place. Okay. Just like that. I'm gonna see if it even turns on now, because if it doesn't even turn on, then all of this was for nothing. Or I'm gonna have, well, I guess I'll figure out that it's trackpad and probably keyboard issue. Okay, so now we're gonna tighten down the heatsink screws. 1. Alright, 2. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rewatch my video and see if that's where the cable went. 3, 4. And 5. Alright, so there's this, what do you call this button here? It's like a CMOS BIOS reset or battery disconnect switch, I think. I'm not sure what the second one is for that's in there. But anyways, we're going to reconnect the battery. So just get that connector lined up, pinch the two together. I'm going to tuck that cable down there and this here. And let me see if it turns on. I'm going to open this up slowly. Push the power button and nothing happens, of course. Press and hold, nothing happens. Okay, let me try plugging in their charger. I don't think that will do anything, but let's give it a shot. There was also some liquid residue on the battery itself, but it didn't seem like it was in a place that would prevent it from working, so. Plug this in, and if this doesn't work, I'll likely have to see about getting a keyboard or trackpad, or actually both. I don't know if I can get like the entire assembly because it is like all attached into one thing. Where's the charge port hole? Here we go. Plug that in. I don't see any LED indicators to show if it's plugged in or anything. That's kind of not a good design. Oh, actually, I see the light on the side here. And pushing the power button, okay, the light just lit up and shut off. So I see the light on the keyboard is on. So the power button does work. The fans are spinning up, or at least the CPU fan is spinning up. But other than that, nothing's coming on the screen. So, I don't know. 240 hertz screen. Oh man, that's an expensive screen. Oh, we got some life. And it just turned off. Let's see. It might be the BIOS is resetting because we did disconnect the CMOS or the BIOS battery and then we reset it. So let's see if this customer's lucky. It is coming to life. The keyboard did light up. And come on. Wake up. Wake up, buddy. It's turning on. Is this going to spin? Are we going to get Windows loading? Oh, I think it's working. So I'm going to cover this because that means that their username is going to show up here real soon. We're going to see if the screen just comes on. If it does, I'm going to close it up. And I'll probably redo the thermal paste. And it's working. Trackpad's working. Clicking works. The battery looks like it's completely dead. But it worked. So I think we got something good here. All right. So I am going to have to redo the thermal paste, it looks like, because it is working. So I guess I'll show that process. So I'm going to unplug that. We are going to disconnect the battery again. Man, I'm not going to be able to stitch these videos together. There's going to be a two-parter. All right, so let's take these all out again. Actually, we're going to drain the power again just to be safe. We can leave the CMOS battery in. I'm going to press and hold the power button just to drain it. Okay, and let's take out the fans. All right, so usually whenever I remove the heatsink, I always redo the thermal paste. So since now we confirmed that this computer is working, let's go ahead and redo the thermal paste. So let's pull these screws out. All right. Get that screw out. Hopefully all the connectors and everything work because they were a pain to remove. This one was the screen, so the screen does work for sure. I'm not sure what that little cable, I think it's for the webcam and stuff. So hopefully that's all working. And then, let's see here. And then the other cable, the keyboard seemed to work because I used it to turn on the power, but hopefully there aren't going to be random keys that are dead. Sometimes the liquid can cause that too, so it's kind of hard to say. We won't know until we completely test it out, and usually I'll have my customer like do that, but I test it by typing in some stuff like the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, which types out all the letters, and then I press all the characters just to test that. So we'll see. Alright, so let's pop this back out, and it is holding on pretty strong again, so let's get this out. Make sure you get all the fan cables. Alright, so we're going to clean up this thermal paste. To do that, I just get a trash can and I just wipe off the thermal paste. Okay, so I'm going to get this first. And again, the red pads and stuff I'm just going to leave there, but the paste for the CPU and GPU dies, I'm going to actually clean all of that off. So just get the paper towel, wipe this off, and this paste isn't too bad actually. It's still liquidy, so should be okay if I left it, but if you do leave the paste, you do want to like reform like a mound so it can spread evenly, because if you just push it back down on top, it's going to form some air pockets, and that will cause it to run a lot hotter. Okay, I don't know what kind of paste they used on here. Yeah, alright, so same thing, we're going to just clean all this paste off here. You can see, yes, this is the NVIDIA chip, and that's this. I'm going to pause the video because I need to flip this upside down while I wipe it to get all this paste off and prevent it from falling in the board. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, so I cleaned most of it off. Now what I'm going to do is just use some isopropyl rubbing alcohol. This is 91%, and I will just kind of clean the rest to make it shiny. Alright, just like that, and make sure to dry it off. Doesn't need to be 100% perfect, but the better you can get it off, the better it will be. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing with this. Just again, use the rubbing alcohol and just clean it. Here you can see it's a lot cleaner now. Alright, you can see the paper towel got gross. That. Clean that all off. Okay, look how black this paper towel is getting. So that's all like oxidation and old thermal paste. Mostly oxidation, that's what gets all black. Alright, so we're going to do this again. Clean that off again. This thing's getting all nice and shiny. Probably do it one more time because the paper towel is turning pretty brown still. You can see, or gray. Flip it back over. Alright. Clean this up some more. Alright. We'll probably use one more clean paper towel because it's still getting pretty gray or black. Okay, fold this over. One more time, let's clean it again. It won't be perfect, it's going to keep having some oxidation there, I guess, so we'll leave that. It's a lot better. That's probably because I'm hitting the outside edges where it's dirty. We'll try one more. Okay. Alright. Oh, it's a lot better now. Okay. So I think we are good. There you go. It's pretty clean. Try that off. I use this. It kind of helps me get it all dry. Gets the lint off. Alright, so now we're going to get the thermal paste and we're going to apply some new paste on there. Alright, what did I do with all my paste things? I guess I'll get a new one. I don't know what I did with all the old ones. Alright, let's get some thermal paste. Man, how many? Where are they? I used them all? I had so many of those. Go. Alright, got some paste here. I'm going to zoom in to make it easier to see. Alright, so what I do here, I just get the paste here, and I'll put about like actually this is a bigger one than usual, so a little bit bigger than a grain of rice, just running across like that, maybe like a long grain of rice. Okay, and then you kind of leave it up like that. I might have to put a little more actually. Okay. And usually you don't want to have too much extra because it'll just pour over the edges and kind of keep the heat away from being absorbed into the heatsink. So, okay. It's hard to do this at this weird angle, but hopefully you get the idea. Okay, just like that, kind of spread it out evenly into like a long line. And when you put the heatsink on top, it will push it super flat. If you notice from the bottom, the layer of thermal paste that was on there was very thin. So, yeah. Alright, there we go. That should be good. And then this one we're going to have to put quite a bit more because it's a bigger chip. So about there. And this, you kind of spread it, but not too much, because when you put the heatsink on top, it will smear it out on its own. Okay, just like this. And you kind of want to try and keep it in the center. All right. Go. So here you can see like that. All right, there's a big lump there, and then there's like that one there. Let me try and fix it. It's easier to do it when I'm looking at it directly instead of over the camera. So I'll fix it and then I'll bring it back to the camera for you to see. Probably should have paused it, but okay. Well, that's better, so we'll leave it like that. There we go. Okay, now we'll zoom out. We're just going to put the heatsink back on top. Okay, let's zoom out. Let's put this back on. Since we have this out, there's some dust on it. I'm just going to clean it out. Okay, get that dust out. Alright, now let's put this back in place. Again, the antennas I put in between there. Okay, so that way this can rest completely flat. Just like this. Alright, looks like it's good. Make sure this is out of the way. Alright, that's sitting down completely. Looks good. Alright. So now we're going to put back all the screws. I'm going to put these fan screws first just to kind of keep it from moving around, but loosely. Okay, another screw under here. Alright, so now that we got that, let's go ahead and start putting these. Again, loosely as well. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 3. Okay. Last one. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let's reattach all these fan cables. Together. Okay. Last one. It's a little tricky to try and get these in because the way they kind of fold the cables over. There we go. Looks good. All right. So now let's tighten everything down. We'll tighten these first. All right. Keep stealing my screwdriver bit. That means it has a good grip. Okay. All right. Now let's tighten this. Number 1. Okay. Number 2. Number 3. Oh no, I don't think I'm going to be able to stitch the videos. Number 4. And number 5. Alright, we got all of that. Everything's in. Let's replug the power cable or the battery cable. Tuck that in. Get that there. Alright, I'm going to put this cover back on. So this cover, kind of the same way we took it out, but in reverse. So we put the back side in first. Make sure you can get it all lined up. Okay, this side will be a little tricky, so you kind of want to have the middle bowed up a little when you go to push these sides in. Okay, oh, I kind of pushed it down already too early, so let's get this back out. If we can. Come on. Okay. So while you're kind of holding that up in the center, then you can push this side in. Come on. Come on. Okay, you kind of also have to put this at an angle out. Okay, there we go. Got that in. Get the sides all pushed in. Alright, you might have to bow the center out here while you push these sides in, just to get it to clear. There we go. Same thing with this side. There we go. Push that in. And there we go. We got everything clipped in. I'm going to power it on one more time before I put back all the screws. Lights turning on. Good sign. Oh no, all this gross stuff that's on the screen. Alright, and it's powering up, so it should be good to go. I'm going to close it up and put back all the screws. Yep, alright. Hopefully the battery is charging. There we go. Actually, is the keyboard working or no? Oh yeah, okay, keyboard's working. Keyboard's working. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to flip it back over and we'll put back the rest of the screws. Alright, again, there's only one other screw that's different, is the one down here is shorter than the rest. But other than that, that's all there is to this. Hopefully this video helped you guys. If it did, please like and subscribe. Help others find my videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Alright, you're welcome to stay while I put the rest of the screws, but that's all there is to it. Alright, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.